next to Mikail here, who's a producer on Mount and Blade with Fire and Sword. And can you just tell us the story of how this game came to be?
This game came to be because Mount and Blade became very popular in Eastern Europe and also in the West. And a studio from Ukraine approached us with the idea of doing a Mount and Blade offshoot game in a historical setting. And they had chosen something that resonates very, very well with the Eastern European market. And we thought it was a really good idea. Sure, go ahead, do it. They put together a lot of good points, and the brand that they chose with Fire and Sword is a very well-known brand in Eastern Europe. It's based off of an old Polish novel about the wars that were going on in the 17th century between Sweden and Poland and Russia, Ukraine, and the Crimean Khanate. So it's a very dramatic and romantic period in history and kind of the rise of gunpowder. So those things sounded really good to us, and we weren't really sure what the response would be from our fan base, but apparently they really wanted to play it as well, our English-speaking fan base, and so we put it through a lot of thought, and then we decided, yes, we want to make this happen, and then we started converting it into English and play testing it more, and working with the studio to make sure that it's right, balanced right, and everything for the Western audience. So it's a really good project, and we have a lot of things that we've added that people wanted with this release. So we think people are really gonna like it.
What does the introduction of firearms really mean to the Mount and Blade experience?
Different tactics, in a word, different tactics, because what you've got is a different dynamic where you have to be more, tactical, but you can't rush headlong into battle as if you were, the lone hero with a two-handed sword. You're going to want to sit back a little bit, do some planning, make your formations, tell your guys to go there, and maybe take a squad to go with you. Use your shield a little bit more, and think tactically and strike carefully in it. And that's encompassing single player. In multiplayer, what that means is that you've got kind of a cowboy Indian mechanic where you have the old school versus the new school, and neither one is better, completely dominant, no. Guns are slow and powerful, and they're not so accurate. But on the other hand, you've got bows and arrows, and they're accurate and fast, but they don't do as much damage. So we maintain a nice balance, and we maintain that either playstyle, any playstyle, is completely valid, and you'll always be able to make something unique to yourself. So, yeah, it adds more depth and more tactics.
In terms of content, how big is this game, and is it comparable to, say, Warband?
Yes, it's got as much content, actually, a little bit more than that, because we still have that dynamic, AI-driven, open-world campaign map with things that are happening around you, regardless if you're there or not. And in addition to still having the dynamic campaign, we've added 3 storylines that once you're in a good reputation and position within a faction, they offer you to do these story quests. They're large story arcs, like taking down the king and becoming the new king of Russia, for example, well, actually Tsar. Or in Poland, wiping out Sweden. This is one of the objectives. So you can, play the game in a nice, open sense, and then when you feel like it, you can go and try to tackle these stories, but nobody's forcing you to. You can still play the game much like you played Warband or Mount and Blade, and still have a really good time, but we added that content because people were asking for something maybe a little bit more linear. And and then multiplayer, okay, yes, new maps, it's always great, but most importantly a new mode, captain mode, and this is where you can take control of a group of soldiers. Every person on your team has a group of soldiers, so these battles can get really big. And we're looking at about 3 to 24 soldiers per person, and about 14 on 14. So very big battles. And then you command them just like you do in single player, and you buy exactly what you want. You can buy Janissaries, you can buy Winged Hussars, all this kind of stuff. So it's really cool.
So, and is it still the same engine that handles all of this?
Yeah, it's still the same engine. We still have our rock solid network code that supports all this action going on and still keeping a nice minimum ping. And then our graphics engine is still the same, but you know, we've got great new textures and great new models and armor. So it may look a little bit like a new game to some people, but yeah, it's because we spent a lot of time enhancing the models and the textures. So, yeah.
So, for a more like open question on the future of Mountain Blade, how do you see the franchise in the future? How will it evolve for you guys? I know you haven't directly worked on this with your own team. You're working on something else, but how would you like to see the future of Mountain Blade?
Well, yeah, for this project, yeah, we're working in conjunction with them, but right now, yeah, we're doing a lot of brainstorming, a lot of you know, planning and you know, making a lot of different ideas. So it's really exciting. Like there's so many ways that we could go, different time periods to pick, different countries to set things in. So we're trying to find the right thing to do, and you know, the community wants a lot of different stuff, so it's going to be hard to please everybody. But regardless of setting or history or this and that, you know, just improving everything overall is something that we're really looking forward to doing and giving people. Of course, I can't mention specifics right now. It's a bit early, but you can be sure that we've got our hands to the pads of paper, and we've got our heads rolling and thinking very hard, trying to come up with something perfect that people will love. So, yeah.
And in the meantime, we can play with Fire and Sword.
Yes, while you wait for news and specifics about future projects, you can enjoy Fire and Sword, and also keep playing Warband. They're both great, and they can coexist together. So you can still play Warband, jump in with Fire and Sword, try out the new technology, try out the new modes, and you know, if you got some favorite mods from Warband, keep playing those. Just play everything together. It's a great experience for people who have even poured in like hundreds of hours into Warband. There's still a bunch of stuff to do with Fire and Sword.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.